Devin Haney talking big smack out there on interviews with Ariel Helwani. He wants it back in blood, and he wants to hurt Ryan inside the ring and outside the ring. Man, come on, let's go. Devin Haney sounding like he wants it back from Ryan Garcia. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, Devin Haney gives an interview after news comes out that Ryan Garcia was suspended, and people seem like they don't care a lot. Unfortunately, Ryan gets suspended for the charge of failing to notify the New York State Athletic Commission that to disclose all of the medications or supplements that he was taking. And he gets suspended. That's not quite a PED charge, but we won't debate that one in this particular video. However, the people, including Devin Haney, obviously, that believe that he was being cheated, should feel good. Because now Devin says that he wants to get it back the right way, in a fight. Now, before I get into the details, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you, man. And thank you to everybody that watches the video. I usually thank people that do the super chats, and I send my best wishes to supporters like my guy, Sean Denton, Shoney D, and Matty O, people of support. And thank you guys. I just want to say thank you to everybody that watches, because you guys are probably definitely the most important thing. Couldn't do it without you. Thank you. But look, man, Devin Haney beating his chest about a rematch with Ryan Garcia. I'm glad to see. He says he wants it back in blood. He said that Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, that Ryan Garcia and himself, they agreed in their contract that they would come in to the fight as clean fighters. That clarifies what the second part of what he said is, that he's going to make Ryan pay outside the ring, which means he's going to try to sue him. And he's going to try to sue him. Now we know what the cause of action is, because he said it was in the contract and he violated the contract. That's breach of contract. So, 1, Devin wants the rematch. 2, Ryan Garcia is going to be sued for breach of contract. He also said something else, which is that, look, I'm a lot of things. And he said this on Twitter, but I am not a P-U-S-S-Y. I'm not a P-U-S-S-Y. So I assume that's why he's saying he wants it back in blood. Now, why would he be saying all this? Because he's getting a ton of backlash for suing Ryan instead of trying to push for a rematch to prove that he's the better fighter, and that the reason that he lost the first fight was because there was ostarine in his system. Okay? Because there was ostarine in his system. Now, on the first part, I like that. And that's what he should do. And that is the businessman. Now, he also said something about being a businessman where he said that, hey, I'm not just a fighter. People also know me as a businessman, and it's bad business for me allowing him to cheat him. So that's why I'm suing him. I'm suing him to set an example as a businessman, and a businessman sues when you do something wrong with the businessman. When you do something, you violate a contract with the businessman. Sometimes not. It really depends. It depends with the businessman and whether or not the businessman thinks, one thing, can you win? And number two, what's your risk for suing him in the first place? So let's analyze this for a second from a business perspective. So you get the rematch. The rematch is probably going to do very, very well. Yes, it is. It's probably going to do very well. Devin and Ryan got a lot of publicity off this. It was an unexpected outcome, just kind of like all the fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. The second fight was bigger than the first fight, right? So, because everybody was looking for it, it was talked up a lot. Let's go. So I think business-wise, it is smart to have the rematch. And why is it smart? Besides just the money. It is smart, besides just the money, for the fact that people don't want to think so that people won't think you are what you said you were not, a PUSSY. Okay, so smart business move on the first half. Now let's see about the smart business move on the second half. I'm not so sure if that's a smart business move. Number one, can you win it? You may have a cause of action, but what are the damages going to be? I've already gone through this in other videos in length, but I will say this, just to summarize it. When you sue someone, yes, you can successfully get a decision in your favor. Let's just assume that happens. He claims breach of contract, right? And I do believe in every contract, there is something that is called a covenant of fair play. I'm not saying the government right, but, fair dealings, a covenant of fair dealings, which means you agree that you're not going to cheat. You're not going to be underhanded. And if you're underhanded in some way, that's a breach of a duty in that particular fight, right? Or that dealing. Okay. No problems right there. Let's just say that is what he claims and that's what he gets. The problem is going to be how much money are you going to get out of that? If you want to hurt him inside the ring and outside the ring, how much money are you going to get out of that? Well, you're going to have to claim damages, and you're going to have to specify to the court, or it really depends. I'm sorry. It really depends, because I don't even know who is going to actually decide it, because a lot of times they have mediation and arbitration clauses in those contracts. So, and it will depend on the law that is named in their contract as to what jurisdiction laws will apply. But let's just put that to the side and say, hey, man, maybe it's just going to a regular old court. Well, when you go to a regular old court, you're going to have to tell them what the damages are. Now, you could have liquidated damages, and liquidated damages are damages that you agree to ahead of time if there was a breach in the contract. So if they're liquidated damages, okay, but how many boxing matches have liquidated damages? Almost none. So except for the one contract where I most definitely saw in a contract Devin wrote had liquidated damages for one party, but not him. That's a whole nother discussion. But let's lay aside liquidated damages and say more than likely Oscar De La Hoya didn't agree to that because it was Oscar's contract. Then you're stuck with reliance. Where's the damages? If you say he had Ostrine in his system. Okay, he had Ostrine in his system. How do we know that the damages that you're asking for naturally flow from that fact? You don't. You don't know whether or not Ryan Garcia would have beat him anyway, even with the Ostrine in the system, right? So you don't know. And then what kind of dollar value are you going to put on that? What percentage of the chance, what calculation are you going to come up with that? for that. Doesn't seem very strong to me as far as what you're going to ask for the court to do. And you very well may get nominal damages. Nominal damages are like $1, $5. You may get a declaratory judgment, and which is for the judge to say, yes, Ryan cheated. And that's what you get, a public statement that Ryan breached the contract, but you don't get any money. So let's just assume, for the sake of argument, that you get nominal damages and a declaratory judgment in that they just said, hey, yeah, you had he did it. Even though I don't think I'm using the declaratory judgment example quite right, but I'm not a litigator. I'm just trying to give you a general idea. Now, let's see whether that is a good business decision or not, depending on your risks. Because you're going to do what if you are a litigious person? You will scare off other people from dealing with you in business. Why? Because you're the type of person that's going to sue people. So there are plenty of businessmen that say, hey, man, it's not smart to sue. Why? Because it's a bad public look. We're going to have our name in the press. We're going to be knowing that this little old lady did something to me. And but I'm going to go out there and sue and try to snatch this little old lady's house for her because she violated a contract with me. And I got all the neighbors watching. Come on, man, it's a bad look. You know what I'm saying? Like, if say somebody has a house and they rented it to a little old lady that's been living there for 20 years. She's on a ventilator. She misses her rent 2 months in a row, right? And then you say, well, it's my right. And you grab the sheriff, snatch her out the house, throw her on the front lawn, throw her shit on the front lawn, on the middle of in the middle of the street. And she's out there crying. And these are neighbors of yours, people that your kids may go to school with because you live down the block. Nah, man, that's not a smart move. That's a bad business decision. It's a bad business decision because nobody else is going to want to deal with you. So I don't know if that's the greatest business decision in the world. No, now I'm not saying it's not, but it's not, come on, man. The best business decision is the following from what I see. It is to fight Ryan Garcia again, beat him, then say, hey, let's run it back because I'm going to act like you didn't cheat. I don't care if you cheated or not. So what? You cheated? I don't care. I should have beat you the first time. And so I'm going to beat you the second time. And if it's anywhere near close, then I want to run it a third time. And what are you going to get? A lot of money. Because at the end of the day, that's the point of business, is to make a lot of money, not to punish somebody. Business is not a business move to get it back in blood, because you're not just discouraging, not get it back in blood. Yeah. But to get it back in court is not necessarily, it may or may not be, because what are you going to do? Discourage people from cheating? You're not going to discourage anybody from doing that. And I just don't think you're going to get a judgment out of it. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.